Okay.
Woohoo! This is a content audit. And the first instructions are, make a copy, which you did. And then Phelan will go through this because he does it more than me.
Nice.
Yeah, basically what they're doing is they're saying, what is the conditions that make it worth keeping around? Basically, what prevents it? Like, what would, think of it like a flow chart. Does it have more one backlink? Okay, yes, then that's worth redirecting if it's like thin content. You're muted, Pip, so I can.
We're not going to know that till the very end. So
yeah.
Will these numbers change depending on the scale of the audit I'm doing? If it was a smaller site with 365, be too high of a number for the meaningful content? Or
that's why it's the content, because the idea is that it's not as specific as for, say, like a local business, right? Because you would be blogging. For you guys, especially with the journaling one, you guys are probably putting out a lot of content. So
yeah,
this is
360 blogs on the site. I think it's a little slow.
So Phelan, we're not changing those numbers. Those numbers get pulled in. Okay.
Cool.
So where do we start? The directions say, what do the directions say? The second part was, will you go back to the start here page?
Oh, yes, I can do that.
And it says, import all the pages from your sitemap into the setup sheet. Format should be full URL, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what do you do?
So I did that, but that was from Screaming Frog, I think.
Yeah, that's the fastest way I found to just get the list of all the URLs.
Yeah.
One thing to keep in mind, you did make sure to do the special paste where it's values only.
I did, I think. Does it look wrong?
No, the way to tell is if you go to the summary or either one of those. Okay, perfect.
So you won't get that if you just paste regular.
Yeah, it'll break the formula at the end here.
Yeah, because it does like a VLOOKUP and all this other.
Yeah,
you can't see it, but if you go into every single one on the second row, if you were to just leave
in here,
go over that cell in the master or the summary.
Oh, yeah.
If you just no, you want it the second row, so just the row above it.
Yeah.
And so you'll see there that it's got a formula that's going on. So it's like finding a unique query string, and we're not going to go through. You don't need to know what this, how this really works, because it's
someone else did it. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, it's a bunch of fancy Google calculation functions that are going on in the background to make this whole thing work.
Nice.
So it looks like you've got your backlinks pulled through
let's
correctly.
Go back to start here because we did step 2, right? Now we're looking at
step 3, which is the big one that looks like we have some issues with.
Okay, so what's it say? It says import your GA data, Google Analytics tab, from behavior, site content, all pages. So can you go over to Google Analytics?
Yes, I have it up somewhere in my many tabs.
Oh yes, I get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Yes, as you're like, my computer's crashing. I don't know why it is. How many tabs do you have open?
It just crashed yesterday. Like it was just like, and we're done. It's like, all right. Okay, so the sitemap, we're close to Google Analytics.
It's here. Okay. It's in my other. All right.
Okay. So the direction said go to, so you're in Universal.
Behavior.
Wait, hold on. I want, there's a tiny problem on this page.
Okay.
I want you to look up where it says analytics and the logo, and right beside that, see where it says all data. We definitely want clean data. Okay. So you don't want to do things in all data.
Okay.
You're not going to be using Google Analytics in the future. So just a quick aside, we can quickly make 2 other views for you. So let's, where do you have access?
Maybe not. They might have given me,
let's see,
a lesser access.
Phelan.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for access.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you could go to admin in the bottom left-hand corner,
A little cog. And then
you
oh,
cannot
there you
create
go.
views, you cannot create properties. Okay, so
Okay.
that
You can't, oh, you can't create, damn it. Okay,
Yeah.
so, oh, that's interesting. You want ownership access to this, just especially for our next class.
Okay.
And I just tell them if they have issue, just be like, you're gonna get a free report. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be awesome sauce.
Yeah.
And I'll even show you how to do it. Kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So do we want to do the content on the, we could just, let's do it on all data. Let's just, we're not changing
There's-
anything. So
well, and it wouldn't do anything about the historical data anyway.
yeah. Okay. Okay. So yay, we learned that we don't have views. So in old analytics, you would have a test view, you would have a all data view, and you would have a master view.
Or raw would have been the second one, where it's like there's no filtering and it's just
Like
a raw
all
pack.
data. Yeah. Okay. So now you're go to behavior, they said, right?
Oh, you guys
And
did
quick
set up the
question.
e-commerce. Yes.
Sorry. So instead of all data, what should we select? If we have
Master.
access? Master. Okay. Great.
All pages.
Thank you.
And this is where, so if a developer set this up, this is where you know that they don't know anything. Because just even in Google's documentation, it says create 3 views. So,
Okay.
like,
Okay,
And the
so
views are the properties that you set up.
you have your properties, Google Analytics.
Yeah.
And then you, in Universal Analytics, you can have views. And you're supposed to create 3 views. In Google Analytics 4, you don't have that. So we'll be transferring this over to a Google Analytics 4 method, which you guys will get to learn, don't worry, at some point.
Okay.
Okay, so you're in, it said to go to all pages or content?
So the first thing you want to do when you're looking at a page like this is you want to extend the number of rows on the table. So it's at 10, let's 5,000. Like minus just
Max.
go hog wild. Yeah, go for as many as you humanly can. The next thing we want to do is extend the date range to be cover a year, because we're doing a year over year analysis. So you go up to the top.
Yeah.
There you go. And then we're going to make the custom. And then I would just, get rid of that 2 and make it a 1. And then hit apply. It'll do some thinking. Okay. And so the next step will be, we're going to add a segment. So in the center top where it says all users, 100% of page views, we're going to add a segment, and we'll, hover over that and scroll down until you see organic traffic. There we go. And then hit apply in the bottom left-hand corner.
So are we creating the views we're supposed to have now?
No, this is just gathering the data that spreadsheet needs. And so
We're
what
not-
we're doing,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
and so what we're doing is we both want to have total number of views as well as just the Google organic. And then the last thing we want to do before we export this is you want to click out of, okay. And where you'll see there's a magnifying glass and the center, and then it has the word advanced to the right of it a little.
Yeah.
We're going to click advanced. We are going to switch the condition to exclude, not include, pages that are containing, and then we want question mark.
Okay.
That's it. And then hit apply in the bottom. Yeah. And this just gets like weird ones from Facebook and stuff like that. It's just, they're not very useful searches for you when you're trying to get your, like you're figuring out your traffic.
Yeah.
Now, the reason, so we didn't change the views, but even though you don't have the different views set up, we're not changing any data or applying filters or goals. So we can just take the data anyway, and it would be basically the same.
Okay.
And so the last step is to click export in the top right-hand corner next to save. And then we'll do a CSV.
Oh, it's so easy when you tell me where the buttons are.
Fair enough.
It's the hardest part, right?
It is the hardest part.
So yeah, I would
And
put it
this-
as desktop, and then I would give it a, you can clear away a bunch of that information in the file name and just have it be like IJW organic, or Google Analytics, something like that. Okay, and then yeah, we'll hit that, and then the import.
Insert.
File, and then import, third one down. Yeah, and then we'll hit upload, and then, yeah, you could drag that there. And we're append to current, yay, and then import. And now when we go to the summary or the master one, we should, oh yeah, forget this one. That was from something else that shouldn't have been imported over. But now we've got numbers in all the columns. So if there's no,
Sorry, where's Augie?
she was right here a second ago.
Okay.
Oh, right there.
Okay.
Have you guys ever played the video game? What is it called? Portal or something?
Oh yeah.
That was Pip
it's-
coming in like from the screen to theirs.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
like you step through a portal.
Yeah, that's reminds me of, do you remember the start of COVID when they had like all these people were making GIF backgrounds of like them like bringing themselves coffee and sitting down, and they have these
No, that's
continuous loops?
amazing.
Yeah, like really good video. Okay, you're fine. Yes, we know that. Thank you. Sorry about that. That is just sorry. The one of the puppies is going to their forever home, and so they just came up the driveway. Okay, you can stop. We get it.
So
Anywho,
what do I take from this? What do I?
that there is a, so the big thing is, see, I like the conditional formatting that's happening on the suggested actions. Basically what you're doing is you're getting a summary of how many pages basically should just get deleted. And then the ones, so you'll notice some, like your privacy policy has a backlink, which is interesting. And so if you,
Yeah.
sorry about that. So yeah, we got a count of all of them put together as like a conditional. It just counts up how many. So we know that there's going to be X number of that need to get deleted. You've got 13 that should get redirected, 15 that need to get manually reviewed. So that's where it's might have some traffic, maybe a backlink. You might like,
So-
it's on the edge. And so
Yeah.
those ones, basically, if it doesn't fit in neatly into any of the other ones, it goes into manually reviewing it.
Okay.
But basically what this does is it gives you guys an opportunity to basically say, what I do is I set up, I grab everything that's slated as a 404, grab all those ones and put them into the summary page. So I
Okay.
usually have the list of all the 404s, all the redirects. And then from there, what we could do is you could work with the team. Like you can put a list of them there. And then from there, you can start to either determine, hey, these don't have any traffic, we should just get rid of them. Or maybe this is something that was actually a really critical concept that we just need to rewrite it with another couple of pieces of content and then make it into something longer form. And then basically just have all the 301 redirects point to this new piece of content.
Yeah.
That's the big one that I take is what's your instruction going forward? So I will give you an example of one that we did where we actually did the content consolidation, and it was a bit painful because it's just the nature of doing these can be, especially if you've had a website for any amount of time, then okay, one sec. I'm going to share my screen so you can see how I pieced it together. I'm going to kill him. Yes, we get that there's people here. Okay, so this one, these people had a really big website that had, as we can see, there's a bunch that needed to get deleted, but they were actually critical to their website. So their portfolio pages. So they did a project, but they want all those all together. So what we did is we had to figure out how many of them that's why there's a little legend on yours, is because I had to figure out which ones are articles, which ones are portfolios, and which one are services. And we had to take those components, and then that pretty much determined how we were going to organize these going forward, because the majority of the ones that needed it, that got slated with the 404 were actually the portfolio. So what we did is we combined them all into one big long portfolio that's specific to that service. And so with that, and so that way, what we've done is we set up the 3-1 redirects that go from those individual ones. We still left them actually up as pages, but that had to do because the guy did a really clever job of like how to piece this site together and used custom post types to pull them into different spots. And so it was actually quite a clever maneuver on his part. So what we did is we left the pages up, but then we went through with Yoast and we said, don't index these. So you can put a little tag that says no index. And so what we did is we said, okay, instead go to this page here, the portfolio, like projection mapping portfolio page. That's what you should be focusing on. And that will actually have these individual portfolios on them.
And the delete 404, what does that mean again?
A 404 is delete it, get rid of it. Generally, you don't want to just blanket delete stuff. Generally, my preference is always to 301 redirect to the homepage, unless you have a specific page that you want to go to. But that's just more.
But where is it pulling the logic to delete from?
Oh, that goes back to what we had talked about at the start with this minimum number of backlinks, meaningful organic traffic.
Okay.
So provided that it has either a backlink or a minimum quantity of organic traffic, and or all traffic, then we should leave it or maybe rebuild the page. So that's the two modes, is we would just either leave it or we would merge it with another page that made a lot of sense content wise. If it doesn't meet any of these requirements, their recommendation is delete it, because it's not helping you. It's just the way Google works now is you want to get rid of all pages that are not actively helping you, because Google just doesn't have the crawl budget to scan all these websites like they used to. And so for a technical reason why it's easier to load one big long page and scan it than it is for them to load multiple pages that are smaller content. Like the computing resources they need is smaller for one big long page that has nice headings, so that they could go through the page and be like, this one is all about beginner's ultimate guide to journaling. And in that one, it has jump links that go down. So they like that. So they know, oh, okay, here's the table of contents. Here's what we should expect from the page. And then those table of contents match the H2s. And so as you go through, and so the idea is that, like the big dirty secret about Google is that they are not as smart as they advertise. Their crawl bots are just very basic. They still actually just take, what does the H1 say? And then they take that and then they figure out what your page is about.
Yeah.
So does that kind of answer the question
it
about,
does.
The 404, why they're saying, so if you had a backlink, they're going to, and you had no traffic, that means that they're going to say 301 redirect, because that backlink is worth a lot, especially if you've got decent ones.
Oh, that's cool. So you could, the 301 redirect means that you're saving that portal and you're just bringing it back to the home page where hopefully they'll keep exploring.
Or to a new page that's actually about like your beginner's guide to your ultimate beginner's guide to journaling. And so that way you're actually putting all the backlinks, rather than losing it, you're actually redirecting them all to this new bigger page that actually has all that content. And the other good part about that is, and say you have 5 pages that you've consolidated and each one had one backlink. Now you have one page with 5 backlinks. So that's even more helpful there as well.
Thank you so much. That's very helpful.
Yeah, no problem. That's what we're here for. And this is one of the more complicated parts of figuring out, like, oh, what do I do with all the actual implementation of it is, it's not always obvious. And also doing content audit and then how to consolidate it is a simple task that is can be a lot of work, right? Like the actually doing it, it's like the task is, okay, we're going to rewrite the content. It's, yeah, that's going to be a lot of work. Like at the best of times, that's a lot of work. So you have to plan it out. You've got to have this kind of idea. And that's where we talked about like whiteboarding out how you want all these pages to interact is going to be super helpful for you guys as well going forward. It's definitely one, if you use something like Miro is one you can use. We use ClickUp as a project management tool, and they have a whiteboard view. So you can map out how all the dots all connect together.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we use a project management tool. It's called ClickUp. And
I just created a site map for it on Octopus that you sent me.
oh, cool. So yeah, so ClickUp here uses like lists and stuff, and it has multiple views along the top. And one of them, you can either do a mind map.
Oh, what? Oh,
And or you could do a whiteboard. So this inside of it, and you can even take like tasks that you already have in here. So you can make like a site map in as like little tasks that you're going to have a page that's going to be called like the ultimate guide. And then when you go to make the,
so will this take the same information and change the view? Oh my God. What?
yeah. And so you can, this one does mind map, and you can either do it based on the existing tasks or use a blank one. And so that's really useful for, I liked it. I haven't got to it as much. I'm going to be using it more for our website because we are rebuilding it.
Nice.
Or we're not rebuilding per se, but spending time on actually fixing stuff.
Yeah.
Cobbler's children and all that stuff of, you never get to spend time on your own website, but now we're actually going to be doing that part and reconstituting it. Yeah. But yeah, I hope that kind of clarifies it and makes sense and hasn't left you with more questions than answers. And
No, it's good. I'm just trying to come up with my argument. They're super like resistant to all this. It's so weird.
yeah, your developer guy is really weird and cagey with just, I think he's just old school because like, honestly, I thought it was our friend that was your web developer because like it's the exact same arguments I've had with him.
Yeah.
That I'm a little, no, you are not going there. He's not good with kids, and there's a 13-year-old girl getting her puppy right now outside. He has blue healer in him, so he thinks that he's like a 30-pound blue healer when he's 120-pound Great Dane blue healer mix. So he nips, and it's not great, especially with kids. Yeah. So, anyways, sorry about that. Still, he's.
I have a question real quick on the summary tab where you put in links for how many 200s, 300s. Do you have to manually bring those over from the?
Good question. I forgot to show you guys how to do that part. That will save you so much time and effort.
I'll stop.
It is manual, but there is a trick for how to do it. Okay, so with this content audit, what I did, this is not the page I'm looking for. Master. Okay, so this is your other best friend in Google Sheets is your filter. So what you do is you select one of the cells and then you hit Command or Control A to select everything. Once you've selected everything, you go up to data, and then mine says remove. Sorry about that. But yours is probably going to say create filter. When you have a create filter, what you do is you'll notice that at the top of these cells, there's now a little icon here. So with that icon, what we can do is you can remove blanks, 200s, manual review, 3. Do that, boom. And now you can just grab this list and then you can paste it onto another page. it makes it really fast to just filter out everything you don't need, grab only the ones that are 4.4s, put that on, paste that onto a new page. And then that way you've got them all. And then you can also, that's how I figured out as well that we had articles and portfolios, that because you, as soon as you sort them on the other page, like A to Z, then you're going to have a whole block of them all together. They're going to say, in this case, it's part of the URL structure. It says, go to productions.com/portfolio/ whatever the name of the portfolio was, or article and the name of the article. So that way you can start to organize them and group them together. I don't know if you've got the same thing, Kaya, with yours. Hopefully hopefully, yeah, your developer used like custom post types, because that's how you generate that. But it will make your life easier if that's the case, if you've got like a really distinctive thing in the URL. I think Squarespace automatically generates stuff like that, because yours would be like /blog/ name of the blog post, unless you guys have named your blog something else, and then you can change it out to be like our fun happy news blog, and then it will be like /fun happy news/ and then whatever the blog post is. I think because you can have multiple blogs under it. Anyway, down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but that it's just doing this and filtering these ones out, and then figuring out what are the themes that are happening with the pages is going to be really.
And you would be color coding this summary list as is to visualize that?
I do personally, but that's because I'm very visual when I'm going through a spreadsheet. If it's just like a whole string of URLs, I'm not really, it just rolls over me and I can't really pull out what I need out of this. Whereas if you pull out and you label them, and again, you could do a conditional formatting, which I think I did for this one. So for this one on this page, I am quite confident. Seems like something I would have done, but done conditional formatting.
Is this your updated spreadsheet with these new?
Yes, this is the one that you guys should be having as well. You're probably not going to have this page looking like this because this is specific to this client.
Okay.
But it's super easy for you guys to get set up and do one where I just basically pulled in the pages, and then I just set up either we're going to merge it, we're going to leave it alone, or we're going to delete it.
Nice.
And so it was just so the client and I could quickly go through their site, and it's just a check, affirmative, yes or no.
Nice.
And it's just, it'll make your life easier for just leaving yourself notes on what are we going to do with these pages, and doing it a little bit faster that way.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised I don't have. Okay. Yeah. See, now I have a conditional format that is if the text contains /portfolio, highlight it blue, this teal kind of color, and then give it white text. Same thing for service, same thing for article. And so that way.
You set that up? The conditional, pardon? Where do you set up the conditional thing?
I did not realize this was going to be spreadsheet fun talk hour.
I'm sorry if I'm derailing.
No, I'm happy to be doing this stuff, because like this is just tips and tricks that I've learned that.
Yeah.
So when you go to you format, and then you go under format, you'll see conditional formatting here. It'll open up this window on the side here. And so in this case, I already have them set up, but it's probably going to start with add another rule. Yeah. And then by default, it will have whatever cell you have highlighted. In this case, I think what I do, I usually do that Control A and select everything for this one. And then what you do is this will tell you where this is going to be applied. So in this case, you could do B3:B22. And then with that one, because that would be apply the range. And then this is where you can make it, say it's a number, say there's a date. In this case, we do text that contains. You can also do does not contain. So you can do everything outside of the services. You can do everything outside of I don't know, like team pages. But in this case, we would be doing, as long as the text contains, I don't know, portfolio. I'm just going to, and then you can style it how you like. Generally, I like to make it a background color that's dark with white font. I just find it contrasts nicer and it's easier to visualize very quickly. And then you just hit done, and that's all there is to it.
Amazing. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Thank you, Phelan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no problem. There's you can also make these into apps as well, but I haven't really played with that as much. There's a thing, they bought a company called AppSheet. And so apparently you can make these into databases as well and do cool stuff with that. I have not gotten into it that far. But yeah, a lot of conditional formatting, filters, just different ways that you can just quickly remove everything that's not important, visually see what is left over, and then that way you can start aggregating them and start putting them together, and then you can make decisions with your boss about, hey, we've noticed that all of these pages have 0 traffic over the last year. We should probably get rid of them. Or this theme of blog posts get no love. Maybe we should do something about that, or maybe we should combine all of these together. It gives you lots of options as well. There is, at that point, there is going to be a little bit of, I call it like a craft, where you've got to make a little bit of a decision. It's not going to be clear cut on themes that are coming up, different types of blog posts. That part is a little more subjective, and it's going to be based on the business and what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Rena, Helena, hello. How's everyone doing?
Good, thanks. No questions because walking into it mid go.
Oh, that's all good. We're just going over audits, and if people have questions with auditing clients. Oh, Rena, I did answer your question yesterday, but if in the recording, but I'm happy to reiterate the point that I made here.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah.
I take it that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird email that you sent. It was like a forward of a guest posting, and they were showing their like DNR stats, which is domain ranking, which is not an officially Google recognized metric. It was something made up by the Moz SEO people. So it doesn't actually, Google doesn't really care. It's just about stuff like that. It was just something that other SEOs had to invent to try and, especially for backlinks and stuff like that. Generally though, we don't really do anything with guest posting. Even if someone were to post on ours, there's very little benefit. And also technically guest posts are a violation of Google's terms of service. They've just never enforced it. But generally that's always made me very, because technically someone's getting something for writing for you is they get a backlink. So under the technical terms that they have written out in the terms of service, because Google does have terms of service, that is technically a violation.
That's a funny violation, because in fact, how else are you supposed to get backlinks? I mean, it's not that easy. And those are actually good backlinks because they're actual, you vet them, you're talking about them. They're not the bot comment ones.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree with you. It's a very weird ruling. And that's why they've never actually gone out and technically enforced it, because that would basically break the internet. Is if they decided to make guest posting would ban you, would be like the whole internet would basically just break down, because everyone's using that to get links and backlinks and stuff like that. There are people like, because I follow generally affiliate marketing people, because those guys are usually really good for the cutting edge of just like, what is working with SEO, what is not working, what did we get smacked with in a copyright violation or something like that. They're usually really good as the tip of the spear for good and bad things that are happening in the SEO community. And there are people who do strictly, sorry about that. It's okay, but it's okay. Yes, we can hear them barking too.
Oops, sorry.
No worries. No worries. Noise all around. It's great. Okay, you're fine. It's sorry, Rena and Helena. One of the puppies is going away right now. The family's come to pick up one of the
Oh
puppies.
no! So the mummy's
So-
not happy.
Mummy's not happy,
Oh,
and he's
no.
very unhappy because there's like people in his domain, and he would very much like to go out there and let them know that he knows that they're here, and he is
No kidding.
prepared to nip at them. So there are some people in the affiliate marketing space that like they're promoting other people's stuff and things like that, do not do anything with backlinks, and they do really well with just doing on-page SEO and doing that because and then just writing really good content, and they get backlinks that way as well. So that's another strategy people do use. And yeah, they're generally, it's absolutely at your discretion. If the person is going to write a decent blog post for you, then by all means, like I don't see an issue with it. Just vet whatever they put on your website. I think that's the biggest part, is that they don't do some like AI written, took them 5 minutes and they barely put any effort into it. Like that's the biggest thing. It's just the biggest horror stories I've heard is just people not properly vetting guest posters. And so that's where you can run into some issues.
Okay, so my question is though, sorry, we run into issues. So the email, the spreadsheet that they worked that they sent has nothing to do with anything. It's against terms of services to do guest posting, but we do it for our clients, and I like it when people guest post for me too.
Yeah.
But as long as I make sure that it's original content and not sent out to 500 other websites, and then because I couldn't really make heads or tails of the website that they sent me, I don't even know if they're making those websites up or if they actually belong to real companies. Like, it's hard to tell.
You're fine. Okay, so the best thing to do is I would probably use a free version of Ahrefs and put their domain through, and generally they'll spit out
Okay. And then, okay, so if you put their domain through an href, then what is the number we're looking for? What should we look for?
Basically, okay, so there's no hard and fast rule. There's generally the closer to 100, the better, is basically it. What you're looking for is making sure that they're not sub 20. Anything lower than 20, bad news bears, don't want anything to do with that. They're probably a toxic domain that has been doing bad things, and you definitely don't want to be associated with them. Generally, if you want to mix as well, you don't just want 80 like the best domains ever to because that wouldn't seem natural. Google doesn't like that because it looks weird that if they're expecting a range of people to be backlinking to you that cover the gamut, and they even expect a range of no follow to follow links as well. Like it's perfectly normal. Like I've heard it, like, was it 3 to 1? Sometimes they say, don't quote me on that exactly, but like they do expect a certain amount of your backlinks to also be no follow, meaning that it's just someone's posted hey, this was really helpful on this website, that this was a really helpful blog post.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's the metric, is expect there's no like you need X amount. It's just make sure that the backlinks aren't toxic, which they do exist.
I'm sorry, did I miss the part where we talked about what a toxic backlink looks like?
Oh, so Ahrefs will let you know if it's been toxic.
It'll give me an error message or something.
They'll say, hey, they usually have a little note.
Okay.
The other one that's come up, yeah, we do like SEMrush every once in a while. We'll spit out an email for us that's, hey, you've got a couple of toxic domains that are connected to you. And then to get rid of them, you have to go into Search Console, and there's a tool. It's called a disavow tool. You don't need to. It's very rare that these days that you're going to have an issue with it. It's more forum websites are the ones that really get pinged with a lot of toxic domains, because people do, like you said, email or comment spam backlinks to their own site.
What's a forum website?
Forum, like
a forum. Sorry, misheard.
Yeah, no worries. It's, I'm sure with this guy barking, it's super easy to hear me. And so the forums are really bad for that, because it's so open source that you, like, anyone could post there. And if you're not like really checking for bots and making sure people aren't being bad, that they can just post all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's generally it. If you're just a regular blog, I don't see it happening. It's very rare that you'd have to worry about it.
Okay.
I hope that kind of makes sense. Like,
so I guess yes or no. Do I follow through with this?
I would follow through with it and see what they come back with for content, and then run that against the plagiarism checker.
Okay, great.
That to me would, if you're comfortable with guest posts, then yeah, I would go through with it, see what content they put up, because you are going to want to say, I have final edit on this stuff because it's on my site. And then you just go over it and put it in a plagiarism checker to make sure that, like you said, that 30 other websites didn't get the same article, because 9 times out of 10 that you are definitely not the only person that they've reached out to for this.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so just check and check.
Yeah, and and always remember that you can always just back out of.
Oh, Hrefs. Sorry, you said what did you call it again?
Ahrefs. I'll post a link to there.
Okay, and is that a free tool or a paid tool?
They have a pretty generous free tool for you to just, if you were just to get started, and you just needed to do, like what you said, check that a domain is real, that it's not toxic, and they're really good for that stuff.
Can I do that on Moz also? Because I already pay for Moz.
Oh, Moz should, yeah.
Do it? Okay, great.
We don't use Moz as much in our company.
Yeah,
Most of our stuff we use is Ahrefs, if I'm going to use something like that, but it's very rare.
Yeah. I like the way that Moz looks. It's just a very expensive tool. Like, it's stupid expensive.
And it's meant for agencies, right? That's why the pricing is basically figuring
but
that
it's
you
not
have
good
like
if you've only got a handful of clients. It's fine if you've got 20 clients, but honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ahrefs is a little more affordable in my experience, and the data between them is all the same.
Okay, good to know. I'll just do some price checking then, because this is driving me mental, especially in US dollars at this particular point in time.
Yeah.
I've decided that when, I don't know if anyone else monitors, if anyone else from Canada monitors the money exchange for US, but when it's cheap, when American money is cheap, that's when we should all go in and buy the software that we need for the whole year, not do the monthly.
Oh, yeah.
In case anyone's wondering what my new strategy is.
Yeah, there's definitely some, it's been a weird market, and it doesn't look like it's going to let up at any point.
Yeah.
So, any other questions, Candice, with your audit? Huh?
No, I haven't done it yet, but
Right. Feel free. You can do it here with us. There's no judgment.
Okay.
We're all free.
So Paige said I could do one of her websites, but I don't have any Google access to her new one. But you said you have Google access for old one.
Yes.
Okay.
And which one are we doing?
Screaming Frog.
Okay, so if we're doing Screaming Frog, you don't need access at all.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
You just need the tool itself, and then just pop the URL into Screaming Frog. And as long as you have less than 500 URLs in the scan, then you're good to go. And if you do, just let me know. I've got the paid tier, so I'll just knock it out
Okay.
and send it to you.
I think I started Screaming Frog and I think it's more than 500.
For her new website?
Her old one, sorry.
Oh, it's like,
But I guess I could do her new one if I don't need the.
no, it's totally, you can also really good for competition audits as well. You could see if your competition's been doing any SEO because you could see if they're, yeah, because it could be anyone's URL that you put in there.
Okay. I don't really know offhand.
I have a list if you need hers.
Okay.
She has told us it, especially with the and I believe do it. Oh, now I'm also having to redo the Screaming Frog audit or read. Yeah, something got messed up with ours for one of our new clients.
Oh.
So I'll be doing it as well. So quit being so dramatic. You're fine. Let me open up Mr. Screaming Frog. Oh yeah. Don't try running Screaming Frog and Zoom share screen at the same time unless you're quite confident in your computer's capabilities, because it will slow right down.
Okay.
So here, let's go through because I got to do it myself. So sports fans, we've got our Screaming Frog and it's nice and helpful. Oh, oops, I got to switch modes. How do I switch back? Oh, okay. So just so you guys know, there's different modes that you can run Screaming Frog in. And this one's going to be the spider, which is the most common one that you're going to have, where you basically just pop a URL and it crawls website, spits out information. We had that site where they blocked all the spiders from doing anything, including Screaming Frogs. So we had to come up with a very fancy workaround that really sucked. And I'd rather never do that again if I can help it. And should also, I'm just configuring the spider because I did pay, we paid for the, and so you can tell it to grab structured data as well that we're going to be covering very soon. And then I'm going to hit this and it's going to do some thinking. What? That's not good. Okay, so if you're only getting one URL from this website that you're supposed to be scanning, that's definitely a sign that things are, there may be an issue. Okay. So the other thing, if that does happen, what you need to do is go to the website. Yeah, okay. So this is actually, it's on a subdomain technically with the www, but that will matter a lot to how a Screaming Frog. Okay, they did find all of them. So I'm just going to clear it just for simplicity's sake. So definitely you want to run the URL in your browser just in case something like this does come up.
So just to make sure the website's still valid.
The exact URL that anyone coming to the website would find, because that's how the spiders work, is that they basically just open up a little version of Chrome for all intents and purposes, and then they just see what's on the page when they hit each URL. And of course, we want to make sure that we only want to have it where it says text/HTML char set UTF-8. Basically, we just want HTML because those are pages, whereas all this other stuff is JavaScript. No, you are not going out there. And so the fastest way to do that, of course, is in this kind of overview box on the right-hand side, is to make sure you just click on Mr. HTML.
And did we decide that the crawl limit reached thing is valid or not?
Oh, so yeah, what they're doing is they are scanning. So you might run into that issue, Kaya. It's hard to say exactly. You probably won't. So it is in one go. The way they word it here is weird, but basically if you have over 500 URLs in the scan, that is going to happen. So when I did Michelle's website, she had way more than that. And so that one needed the paid tier, which I had. So I just created it for her.
I see.
Yeah. But generally just try to run it. And you should, worst case scenario, if you're really running into an issue with it, what I would do is I would use a different mode, and I would go to this list one. That one, and then what you do is you tell it the list of URLs, and you grab that from Search Console. And so that way you're only grabbing these the HTML pages, you're only grabbing those ones, and it just will, it's a bit of a workaround, but you shouldn't run into the same issue. It shouldn't be too complicated, but it sounded like you had already run Screaming Frog once before with theirs.
I did, but I think I just ignored that warning that I was open.
Yeah, totally. Just ignore it. If it runs, just ignore it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The on-page and technical audit is using the same information as the content audit, but it's just the Screaming Frog portion, right?
Yeah, this is generally the order I do these in. Is Screaming Frog is first because it's just very simple. You just run the application, scan the pages, grab the HTML, and then you just put it in. No, you're not going anywhere. And then once I've got the Screaming Frog, then I do the content on it, because generally I have the URLs, I've got access to Search Console, so I could do the backlinks. And then I also typically have Google Analytics. In Tim's case, I don't have access to the backend yet. And that's because agencies are annoying to deal with, other agencies. But generally, or even for your sake as well, just developers like throttling your access can definitely make it less than ideal, is what I would say.
Yeah, it made it so much more stressful all of a sudden.
Yes, that definitely can happen. So just know that it's not just you. I've also had the same situation. What the? Sorry, there's still action going on around. Oh. And okay, so and very similar, remember how we were doing, so I'm just going to import this one as well. Hello, Michelle. Oh yeah, worked out well. Yeah, so we were just covering, a lot of people just had questions about what different audits and everything. Of course, we recorded all this. We did record. Yes, we are. Okay.
And we still have half an hour if people have specific questions to their audit, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I have questions.
Yeah.
And again, we are going to create a filter. And in this case, what I want for this one, this is just personal preference, is I get rid of all the blanks and 301s. 301s are pointless when you're doing an audit. You don't need to worry about them. Yeah, they're very rare that you gotta, oh, I have to deal. Oh, see, and instantly we've already found something really bad in this. Every meta description that this website has is the same, which is not good. So we don't like that, folks. And all of these are too long, so that's also not good. So we've already, like, just quick cursory glance, we've already, yeah, that's not good. So yeah, we're getting a lot of red because everything's too long, and we're getting a lot of red, and even more terrifying is that they're all the same, which is not what you want. You want to have it unique to each page because it's going to have a specific keyword that you're ranking for on that page. I'm not getting any H1s, which is also gives me a little bit of anxiety. That's also not good. And yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, that is also not good. Okay, so this one, generally, you don't have to stress about this one too much. You might, Kaya or Michelle, you guys having a larger website might need to worry about this. Crawl depth is the number of pages that need to load in order to make it to a page. Meaning, like, I'm on the home page, I click a button to go to resources. Like, from resources, I go into a specific giveaway page. In the giveaway page, I then have to go to another landing page. So I've already had to go 5 deep in order to make it to this one page, which in this case, you don't want anything higher than a 2.
Okay.
This on a 3 is not good. But this is an easy fix because you can just, what you do, or what we recommend you do, is crib your notes from Google. Google developer. So Google, let's how you should connect all your pages so that they have one crawl depth. And that is.
So should we just study the Google developer blog?
Not necessarily the developers, actually. Let's go to their blog, Google. So this one is where you guys should be looking at a lot if you have SEO questions, because this is the gospel, right? This is SEO from Google, how they're saying you should do SEO. I'm just going to put it in the chat just so you guys have it. And then you can also see different, they have different conditions because they'll do things differently. They also have in their documentation, beginner, advanced, and if you're dealing with international, they have the documentation on how to deal with international blogging, stuff like that, multiple languages. These are all things you do with as an SEO. But generally, you could just get started with the basics and the beginner page, and that will definitely keep you guys occupied. But yeah, like I said, notice how at the bottom here, they've got basically the sitemap in the footer. So basically, most of the tools you can get to from here, most of the resources you can get to from here, any of their social media. They've also got it for different products that are across the bottom here. So what they've done is to get around that crawl depth issue, they just listed out the site in the footer.
Nice.
And so that's a way to save you guys a lot of headache, is you just, if it's something that's hard to get to, make a sitemap in your footer, have it with different categories, and then just that way, no matter what, someone can easily get to that page. It also, Google recommends this. They used to have, it's called a HTML sitemap. So remember how we talked about an XML one, and it looks a lot more like code. This is an HTML sitemap, and Google also appreciates this because when they're scanning this page, they can go down to the bottom and they go, hey, this links out to every other page on the site. Well, that makes a nice handy little like roadmap for us as well. And so they use that as a jumping off point to get to all the different pages on the site.
And do all of the pages need to be represented, or just your most important pages in the footer for it to have that effect?
Yes.
Yes.
Basic cop out is going to be, it depends.
Okay.
How many pages do you have? How many pages is it? Like, obviously you don't want every single page if you've got 300 URLs.
Yeah.
There's going to be the point of diminishing returns at that point, and then you would probably have a collection page, because again, that's only going to be one step in. So you still get one more crawl depth after that, where you wouldn't have to worry about it, or I wouldn't stress about it. Anything more than that is when maybe you got to rethink how all these pages are interacting. Maybe they need to be recategorized, and so that they have different blog collection pages, different filterings. I know you guys also have like e-commerce functionality, so you might have like a collection, a main collection that you might have, but there also will be a collection based on product tags or product type, stuff like that. Very common. So even if you had it where it's like all of the pens and then all of the paper journals, like those would be things that they would be big collection pages that I would probably link to, because you don't need to have the specific pens or journals.
Totally.
That you
Yeah.
have. But it would make sense that the collection page itself would be represented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry, so it wouldn't be right to just put your most popular pages, like the ones with the most comment, like the most traffic?
Yeah. I would say is I like to think of it as like this is a resource tab that you're having there as your sitemap. So if they have questions about getting into admissions, you would have like FAQs for admissions, and that would be in the footer there. You might have the guide that you guys might have. It's like a PDF that someone could download. That would be another one because ultimately for you guys, it's about admissions and then getting them resources. And then you might have also like post-college or post-graduation resources. And it's job training stuff. If you have some stuff where you could have it like the life cycle of a student, where before they join up, you'd have resources about that. Then you would have while you're here, and then like location and like things to learn about like the specific locations and how those, and then the last one would be after they graduated.
And that's the stuff you'd put in the footer, not just links to the most popular pages. That's much better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. It's definitely one where what you're trying to do is address the life cycle of someone that is interacting with your website, and from beginning, middle, and end. That's how I would think of it. And then also any like your blog, like a link to the blog where they can learn the latest about the college, West Coast College of Massage Therapy. Like you'd have that. You probably have your team page would be in the footer so that they can learn who the different teachers are. You'd have a contact us box. You'd have the phone numbers of all the colleges or all the people. Like you would have that as a section. Yours could be quite in depth as well and still not diminish from it as well, because you have different aspects that you're trying to cover, of whether it's getting a hold of someone, whether it's like different departments you might have, whether it's like the life cycle of the student, or maybe the social media. Like these are all things that you can have in your footer and have it be pretty much consistent across your website.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. It's definitely, site structuring is, it's a whole thing, and there is no like hard and fast, oh, this is obviously the best way to do this stuff. Like you have to make compromises and figure out like what, and of course, like you want to remember that it's all about what is the function of the website. Whether it's for you guys, it's getting students into admissions and then helping them all through beginning, middle, and end. That's your primary focus at the end of the day. Everything else is supposed to support
It's
that.
to support that, exactly.
Yeah. And for Candice, like yours is going to be showing expertise about Gig Harbor, right? Ultimately, that's the big thing, because it's, as a real estate agent, you want to hire the real estate agent that knows the neighborhood the best. And so your job is to show expertise about the neighborhood and what's to do and what to, and so the, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, my headset just died, and so I wasn't sure if that all worked out. And so, yeah, for you guys, it would be, and then Kaya, for you guys, it's definitely going to be like courses are going to be a big one for you, because that's making money. Probably getting people on your email newsletter is probably a secondary one. If I were you, like, you're writing, so they're expecting decent writing, and that's a way to reach out to people. And email newsletter for e-commerce is like, I forget the exact, it's 3 times the ROI. It's like easily the most profitable channel for anyone who sells digital or any product.
All of their free resources, which are like one of their main offering, are set up as a WooCommerce product for free, and with the stipulation that you have to put your email in to download it.
Very common way to do that. That stuff, like, just getting people on your email newsletter would probably be the primary goal. I'm trying to think, and so
I think that getting them to set up the Google Merchant Center should be a high priority too, if they're wanting to sell more of their products.
100%. Google is very much leading people down the little primrose path of, if you sell stuff on your website, you should be setting yourself up with Google Merchant Center.
Yeah. And can that exist independently of the Google My Business, which would be a little bit of a gray area for us because we don't have a physical location?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Google Merchant Center is the weird one because it is going to tie more and more to different Google products and Google assets. So right now you can connect it with your Google Analytics 4. That's a new one that just came up. So I don't even know. We'll go over that when you set yours up. But it's definitely one that they're pushing for more and more, especially if you guys run any Google ads, which is I wouldn't run search ads for you guys, but like shopping ads, definitely they're like the cost per click is 50 cents. Display ads, very cheap, especially if you set up, because with Merchant Center, once you've set that up, you can actually do, they call it dynamic retargeting. So if a person visited a specific product, they will see that specific product out there as an ad.
And that's a Merchant Center feature.
Because you need to get approved.
Okay.
And there's all kinds of, I will say that I have never set up a Merchant Center account that just was one and done. Setting them up is annoying. They're always like, oh, you need to have blah 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 set up, and like if you sell alcohol in Canada, we need to test that you can ship it to Quebec, which technically doesn't fit within the purview of the legal remit of Canada. So it's a whole separate system, so you can't. So stuff like that will always come up, and I'm not bitter about that alcohol one either. It was very annoying. But yeah, there's always going to be some weird stipulations. You'll definitely need to work with the web developer to implement the schema, the product schema, because you want it dynamically generated.
And this is just for the basic Merchant Center. Or this is for the specific Google ads.
This is for basic Merchant Center, just getting it set up and being able to add, even if you don't advertise, even if you just do the free listings, you need to go through and set it up. And it's going to require schema set up for all the products, because it needs to know the product name, the product price, where it's the shipping cost, where do you ship from. These are all bits of data that they're gonna want to know about.
Is it the full schema details you need, like when you go to schema.org, or is it like a simplified version?
It's okay. So there's 2 layers when you're doing schema. There is critical errors, and then there is warnings. And products are really good for having lots of warnings, nothing critical. Generally, you're going to want, obviously, the name of the product, how much it costs, are there variations, does it ship, like a digital product, what doesn't ship, it just needs an email address to send. The weight and shipping cost is, do you ship physical products or is it all digital?
I think so. You can sell like ebooks and stuff.
Okay, then yeah, you guys definitely don't need to worry about that. So when you get into physical, that's where it gets really weird really quickly. For some reason, they haven't built an API connection, so they can't like dynamically change it. So whatever the shipping rate is, yeah, it's $75 to ship. It's not. It's actually going to probably be 10, but they have to go for the most expensive one that it could be, because otherwise it might be considered misrepresenting.
Yeah.
So yeah, any other questions, comments, thoughts, concerns about audits or other things?
I have a question if no one else does, but
okay.
I see Michelle ready to talk to you, so you go for it.
No, you go ahead. I don't mind.
So if I really want to set up Google Analytics 4 and I want to set up Tag Manager, and if I can't do it on this one website, then I have other clients who will be a lot easier to convince.
Yeah.
What do I need them to have to be able to do that? Like I have all their access to the backend WordPress already. They let me set up a Google account if I need to. What are the steps I need to do to achieve that?
Okay, so provided that you have the backend access and approval to add it, then what you need is access to the head or the body code.
Okay.
Generally, it's going to be in some place called additional scripts.
Yeah.
That's generally the place to go. So I'm trying to think from there, you're pretty much just installing Tag Manager. And then once Tag Manager's there, then you don't even ever have to look at another part of their back end of their website. Everything is run through Tag Manager. Everything is going to be just tags that you're deploying there.
And that's fed through the Google console, or no, it's separate?
The Tag Manager, once it's installed, you're going to launch tags to it, and then it's going to then fire off the Google Analytics 4 or the event tracking that you guys are going to set up, like anything like that. That's who's going to be doing that part. It's all Tag Manager. And it's once you get your feet wet with it, you're going to be laughing. It's very straightforward.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's definitely one where, yeah, setting it up, your lives are going to be a lot better, because yeah, right now I'm having to manually write an event tracking code, and I remembered how much I hate it. And yeah, it sucks. I'm here to tell you, Tag Manager is like the best way to do event tracking, and you can even do dynamic with Google Analytics 4. Did we cover that yesterday at the Q&A? Did I show you guys that?
I don't know. It's all still blurry in my brain.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so Michelle, because you guys have multiple phone numbers on your website, rather than us trying to find each event for each specific phone number, what we did is we had phone link clicked is the event name, and the event name has parameters. One of those parameters is the name of the actual text of the phone number. So let me just show you it. And so it'll dynamically update based on who clicked, what phone number was clicked will show up in the Google Analytics after the fact, as it just gets replaced with, this is the admissions phone number. Like, it'll have the actual phone number itself, but that way at least it's a way of just dynamically changing it. And so we can keep track of it that way. And let me show you what that.
Do you mean from the landing page?
Any page.
Any page. Okay, they should.
You'll see one.
Well, there should only be admissions and clinic.
Yeah.
So it's two different audiences.
But yeah, this isn't just for the ads. This could be just your organic. This could be anything, because we would be able to, that event where they clicked on it will have the parameter of the name of the phone number, but it also has the parameter of source and medium. So this person came from a Facebook ad. This person came from a Google organic. This person came direct. This person came from an email. Like, all of those, all that bit of information is also part of the event.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, because we were scratching our head over how we were going to do this. So let me show you, and I feel pretty proud of myself for figuring out this one, because I was looking at writing a whole lot of events. And so this one, it's a Google Analytics 4 event. We're using your ID. And then it has tell link clicked is the name of the event, because a tell link is a phone number. And then under it, we have the event parameters. So of those parameters, I want to track a couple of bits of information. In this case, the phone number. And what you do is to make this dynamic. So meaning that it changes based on the event itself.
Yeah.
You click on this helpful little Lego icon, and it opens up all of these variables that we set when we first set up the Google Tag Manager. And in this case, what I'm looking for is the ones in click, because to me, it's when they clicked on that thing, it captures bits of information, including the text. So in this case, it might be 604, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's the text that got captured. And so it pulls that out and adds it as part of this event. And so it'll be dynamically changing. And then that way, and then I just made it so that it's on the link. The trigger is that the clicked URL contains tell colon. So that way it fits any phone number you could have on your site. As long as the link, it's the URL that they clicked on contains a tell, then this event triggers, and to be able to tell them all apart, we have this. And so it'll be in the reporting. You'll see it show up there. So yeah.
What's the purpose of that? I'm sorry, because.
Oh, so.
I'm sorry, why is that valuable?
Oh,
I'm
because.
missing something.
I
I think it's it's great. I just don't understand why it's useful.
So you have all these phone numbers down here.
For sure.
And we want to know, we don't want to just, oh, the phone number was clicked. That is useful, but we want to know which phone number was clicked. And then we want to know which phone number was clicked. Where did that person come from on their journey to here? And then from there, we can then build, now that we know that this is a conversion, right? Someone calls you, that's a conversion. We love those. Phone calls are great. So then we can do a user journey. Okay, this person first found us through a Facebook ad, and then they came back later and they found us on Google Organic. And then it was a Google display ad, which actually converted them into actually calling us. So we can then see every little spot along the journey because we've made this into a conversion. And
that's
so,
amazing.
Yeah, so that's why we want to track this as overall. Just one thing I did notice is that these are not clickable. So I might just make those into some.
They're not. And actually yesterday on the landing page, the developer worked out how to make them clickable, including when it has an extension.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So the ones on the landing page,
okay.
phone directly from, it's really quite cool.
Yeah, I'll probably replicate what he did there on the footer there, just so we can track all that stuff as well. But yeah, that's why we do it, is that you want to have, because remember, events get turned into conversions in Google Analytics 4. Once something's a conversion, that means that Google is going to trace the whole journey, that every step that they took along the path to that one event itself. Same for Kaya with your website with the e-commerce. You want to know every step that someone took along that path before they converted. Even if it's for the free stuff, still very useful for you guys, especially if you're putting in all this effort to actually get people onto an email newsletter, that you can figure out, oh, they're coming from these posts. And you can also then create your own UTM parameters as well to go with it. So with your Facebook ads, you can track the campaign because it's a little parameter you can put in. So it'll be like the specific name of the campaign, you'd be the specific name of the ad group. What other ones? The keywords is technically one you can do in Google Ads. So we could even break it down by which keyword actually converted. So you can do stuff like that. It's a little, again, this is where it gets very in the weeds about figuring out how to make these and make these like super dynamic, so that you want it so the computer's filling in all this info for you, so that later on when you come back to actually go, how did this campaign do? And then you could say, oh, this campaign did really well with assisted conversions. Oh, okay, that's really good. So now we know that maybe it doesn't directly convert, but it starts off that journey. Okay, that's great to know. And then that way we can tailor that more so that you're not spending as much on just, you can spend the money more strategically and not just blast it out and then just do a performance max campaign in Google Ads, which is, do not do those. So we have a client that was doing them, and they're awful and they suck, and they're just like easily, they're stupid smart campaigns. Don't ever do a smart campaign, because what they want is, especially with Google now, is they look over at Facebook and they go, wow, you guys really have a lot less control. And people still put in their credit card details, and it just goes into the algorithmic black box, and you spit out results, and they don't really ask too many questions. And then, so Google's moving towards that because
energy efficient.
Yeah, they're like, the problem is their incentives and your incentives are not aligned with Google ads or Facebook ads. Their job is to get the click. It's not to get the conversion. Your job is to get the conversion, right? To get someone to call, get someone to put in their credit card details. That's what matters to you. To Google and Facebook, their job is to bring you those people. Your job is to sell them. And so they don't really care, especially if you do something that does maximizing the clicks, right? Yeah. That doesn't mean max conversions. And so
I have a basic question, a basic final question.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Is Tag Manager Google Analytics 4?
No.
Okay.
They're like hand in glove. They're very complementary.
It's like this first step to use Google Analytics for, which is coming. Is that how it works?
Yeah, you install Google Analytics 4 into Tag Manager, and then Tag Manager is the one that's actually going, okay, Google Analytics 4, go.
Okay.
Google Analytics 4 event tracking, you're firing now because someone clicked on a thing that had a tail link in it. Okay. And so I could think of it more as like Google Tag Manager is the conductor. It's telling people when to come in, when to come out, like when to fire. And then Google Analytics 4 is the one that's doing all the analyzing and work. And hey, someone came here from Ghana to our website and then visited 4 pages and then left. Like they're the ones doing the heavy lifting of actually capturing information for analysis.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, they all kind of work together in the marketing platform is what it's called. And so you have your Google Analytics that gets deployed by Tag Manager. And then you do reporting with Data Studio. So that's where our class tomorrow is going to be about is Data Studio and how to start visualizing what you've captured with Google Analytics 4 and Tag Manager, Tag Manager is doing the event tracking to help, tells it like, okay, this event happened. Now we can put it and report on it in Google Analytics or in Data Studio. And then the last one is going to be Google Optimize, but we don't have to worry about that until we do ads. And that's going to be A/B testing and stuff like that for landing pages.
Nice.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah. So any last questions?
Yes, we have such different audiences that come to our website.
Yep.
We're definitely going to need to be able to differentiate because we wouldn't want to be retargeting clinic patients or people that come like looking for general information like career fairs and stuff.
Yep.
So we will be able to differentiate who clicked on the admissions, hey?
Yes. So with UTM parameters, if we have an ad where we're trying to get people like that's coming to do a career change, we can have that as part of the UTM parameters that they clicked on this ad that had a UTM parameter saying career change, and then that will
targeting to clinic patients or to clinic owners.
No, in fact, we can even, if you have a list of those people, we can also put them on.
It's going to be the people that click on clinic bookings telephone number, or the people that click on general inquiries. Those are totally different audiences.
Okay. Yes, but the retargeting to those people, we can definitely exclude people.
So we would only be retargeting to the people that clicked on admissions.
Yeah, we would set up a condition that would be like, if user clicked on this and did not click on this, then put them into audience that is called whatever it happens to be. And you can, in Google Ads, you can make conditional based audiences based on events that are happening on the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would it not be better just to have 3 different events, one for admissions, one for clinic, one for general? Because then that separates the audiences right from the beginning.
It depends really on how Google Ads is going to take the conditions. I think that's where we're really rubber will meet the road for that one, because we might need to pull out that. Basically, I totally get what you're saying. It's just, it depends on how Google Ads themselves want to set up the conditions. So they might say, oh, we can't actually pull out the event name, like event parameters. So I might need to redo it as like a full event. And then that event will be the thing where it's, if you did this, but didn't do this. So, but we're getting in the weeds about that part. It's really going to matter when we break it all apart.
Okay, no, that sounds good. Thank you. Then my next question, can I share my screen? This is about the audit. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so this page is obviously Google Analytics.
Yep.
And so it's showing that we have, these are all pages, right?
Yep.
So here it's showing that we have 10,007 pages. But then when I go into Screaming Frog, it's nothing like that. And then the sitemap, which I think, and I'm mistaken in thinking that's also pages, but that's only 768.
Okay, so what does it say on the master of the summary, please?
Sure. And then this is saying these are all, I guess, 404 errors.
Ah.
Weird, right?
Something is not quite right with that file. Yeah,
And
because
then
it's not pulling in this stuff. Okay.
You've answered the question. I was thinking I was not understanding it correctly, but
No, there's something got weird in the pasting, which it can happen from time to time.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Because I need to redo it anyways. That's good practice.
Yeah.
And then just my very last question is, when in Google Analytics and Google Search Console, I'm not getting the same numbers. Which one would you try, Slack?
Ooh, good question. So it depends on what it is that you're trying to track, which the number. If it's number of people that, so there's still going to be a differential between Google Analytics and Search Console, because especially if you have a bounce rate, because some people go there and just bounce before the page loads. And so that means that Google Analytics never had a chance to actually fire and capture, because it needs to run the JavaScript to actually go start tracking. So you can have situations like that, where we have had like a website where bounce rate was really high. So they're getting lots of traffic from Google Search Console, and it said you're got, oh, bye, Rena. And so what would happen is, if you look at the clicks in Search Console and the clicks are really high, but the traffic doesn't match that.
Yeah.
What you need to do is figure out the page that they're trying to go to.
Okay.
Make sure it's loading properly, because what it turned out for us is that the client's website was taking 10 to 20 seconds to load. And so people were not waiting for that. And so there was a technical issue that needed to get addressed. That's how I would, you think of it as like moving down the funnel, right? So you're getting like, okay, we've got X number of impressions. Okay, now do we have clicks? Okay, we have clicks. Did the website view visitors match? Okay, website visitors matched. Are we getting conversions? Like, you're just making your way down a funnel and just checking if.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Sure. That's good information. Thank you.
Yeah,
This
no
was
problem.
awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no worries. That's what we're here to do, is help and hone what you guys are doing with this part. And it's, like I said, it's not always intuitive what's the solution here. Again, the one thing to keep in mind is always going back to what is the goal that you guys are trying to do with the website. Focus on that part, because you can go down a million different metrics and get lost in the weeds and all that stuff. All you're trying to do is focus on, is the website converting? Do I have conversions set up? So we're tracking that people are filling out forms or doing purchases. Okay, once that's there, am I getting those? Also, what's the percentage, right? Then you're going to work your way up with, we'd still do the same thing with, like, when we're doing like a conversion rate optimization. You'd still start out with, okay, are you showing up for impressions? Of those impressions, how many people are clicking? Because that's your click-through rate. Now we have a click-through rate. Now we know if it's good or not. Is it above 2%, basically? Okay, from there, you can then go, okay, of all the people landing on the page, how many people are actually taking the next step on that's on that page? And so then you're focused on 2% is the conversion rate there, roughly. Everyone's a little different, but a good just middle of the road is 2% of people that visit your website should convert, whatever that may be. From there, you can then figure out, okay, they land on the page, they're spending time on the page. This is where the numbers actually help reinforce, but what you're trying to focus on is conversion, the rate that's happening. And is it happening at a sufficient rate? That would be 2%. If not, then you have to figure out where in the path it isn't working.
Okay.
And so that's where metrics like average time on page. So they're all coming from the ad. They're spending a ton of time on the page. Okay, but they're not converting. Okay, that's weird. Okay, so then you can look at different things that like, maybe we don't have enough social proof. Maybe we need video to increase engagement. Maybe we need to like, so there's all these things that we, or maybe it's not obvious what the next step is. We've had some pages where it's like a little link is the contact us, and it's not like a big button that says like contact us today.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you do need to, with conversion rate optimization stuff, you've got to whack people over the head with it.
Yeah. So should every single page have a next step?
Yes.
Every
100%.
single page.
There should not be a single page on your site that doesn't lead to someone picking up someone filling out a form or someone booking for you guys. Just as much as like finding people to receive massages as it is to find students. Both of those are perfectly valid actions that you're looking for the person to take.
Absolutely.
And so that's what you're trying to focus on is, hey, you shouldn't land on the page unless you're strictly a blog and you have no other, and you do display ads as your moneymaker. And all you care about is traffic, keeping people there, keeping people on the page for a long time, reading your content. Okay. Like almost no one does that. That's just not how everyone else's websites work. So for you, it's more about, okay, they're on the page. Now that they've made it onto why 2023 is the best time to start learning, go to massage therapy college. That's going to be something that's super actionable. And then the action step is to sign up for admissions, right? Like you're pairing the action with what the pages that they're expecting to land on.
Will you show us documents sometime of like how you track progress? Not now, because I know we're at the time and I have to go.
What do you mean track progress?
Like how would you, what kind of spreadsheet would you use to look at like SEO action over time once the audits are done, just for like maintaining?
Oh, that is where Mr. Data Studio report comes in.
Okay.
That is probably the one that's the easiest because it's very quick for you to go, okay, how do we look year over year? How does this quarter compare to last quarter?
Yeah.
For Paige's website, like we did that one where it was noticeable after 9 months that like all of a sudden it's a huge spike in the number of phone calls she was getting, the number of views she was getting found in like search. So that's how we were comparing it, is you do quarter over quarter, year over year. It also depends on whether they're a cyclical business, like real estate, super cyclical. People aren't buying, you're just winters, it's usually dead. Okay, you're fine. I'm not wasting away. And yeah, that's how you're going to track that overall, because Google Analytics with the Data Studio report, where you don't have to use a spreadsheet and it's nice and visual. You can do a nice like time, like a time chart. Words failing me at the moment, but yeah, so basically you can look at it over time. Oh, all of a sudden there's a big spike. No.
Dad, I need a wee.
No, we had a puppy that just went to her forever home, and they just came here at the start of it. And so they had a little 13-year-old girl was here with her mom, and so stranger danger. And so he tries to herd them, and he is not very good with kids. Because they're like little drunk people. So he's
they're unpredictable.
Like, and his main mode is to knock you over, because if you're knocked over, you're not like causing a commotion, which, you know, for kids, they don't understand that's what's going on.
No.
He's gotten better in his old age, but it still leaves a little bit to be desired.
He's perfectly entitled to not enjoy children.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave everybody, but thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I hope this was informative.
This was so good. Can I ask the fastest, quickest question?
Yeah, for sure.
So like an example of a conversion on pages. So if somebody's like on our program prerequisite page, so they're interested in finding out what they need to get into the program, could the next step be click here to go to see the application process? And then that would take them to the application process page because they need those. And then from there, it would be click here to apply. Or click here to
what
set
I
up
would
a
say,
meeting.
I'd cut out the middleman with that one. You have an extra step that I don't think you need. That I would have that the page would be, here's your application. Here's what to expect from the program. Here's the requirements. If you have more questions, you should totally, we are more than happy to send you more information by putting in your email address here, and then send it to them as a PDF. So then you get their email, you send them the PDF that has all the requirements for it. Now they're in your system. So now you've just taken out, like, you don't need to do the two-step. It's just a little form, name, email, they get it. You send them a PDF with more additional information about the admissions process.
Okay. Okay. So pretty much having a reach out on every page, actually.
Yes. Yeah. You want to make it.
You want to gather information from them.
Yeah. You want to get them onto, especially for you guys, like when we were talking about your intake call and you said that there's a lag. If there is a lag, you want them on an email list. And you want them on that email list as quick as possible. And you want to segment them out that they are new. They haven't really talked to anyone yet. Like, you want to have also the life journey of that person from start to finish as part of the segment. And as they move through, because then you could target emails specific to them saying, hey, you should talk to our admissions people in Victoria. And so that's the big one for you guys, is you want them in your system, emailing them as quick as you humanly can.
Yeah.
Because once you've got their email, then you're off to the races.
Thank you. That's super helpful.
Yeah. No worries. Like, it's definitely one that's not always intuitive how to set it up so that they take the fewest steps that they need for it's a win on both sides. Because obviously if they're in the admissions page and they're interested, you have that little prompt where it's like, hey, if you want more information, and then for you guys, you could send a follow-up email 3 days later. It says, hey, insert name. We sent you the PDF. How did you find it? If you have any questions, feel free to talk to our admissions people.
Yeah.
And then you could set up a phone. They could call you from the email. So that way you're spurring them on, and then you're asking if they have any additional questions, getting them in touch with the person, because that's ultimately what you guys want to be doing, is just filling up that hopper. Sorry, I don't know if but for us, like, sales process is like, you don't want everyone at one end of the journey or the other. You want it to be consistent the whole way through, because there's no point, because then it's like feast or famine. Either you're drowning in leads or you've got none. And what you want to do is you want to smooth that out so that there's always some people that are just learning about you, and then some people that are red hot, ready to throw down money and do the change.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. That's
very helpful.
Yeah. It's like I said, getting more into conversion rate optimization stuff that's where it really becomes like a craft, where like the word "it depends" is going to be said a whole lot, and everything is going to be dependent on the data of that specific thing that you're trying to figure out. SEO is way more straightforward than conversion rate optimization. There's a lot of je ne sais quoi that goes into it, and a lot of and you got to pull out from data from all kinds of sources to figure out whether it's like heat mapping and screen recording with Microsoft Clarity, so that we can see what a person does on the page, how they interact with it. You're going to have that. You're going to have, again, those metrics we were talking about: time on page, how many pages did they visit, what device are they on, because that can also matter, because you can be like, hey, we're only getting conversions from desktop. That's weird, because like, it's an equal number of people are on the phones. And then you find out that your form doesn't work on mobile, or it looks weird, and so people don't fill it out. There's all these little things of, you've got to figure out the context of what's going on, and there's going to be no clear cut, oh, obviously this is doing this because of this. It's much more malleable, but it's doable. There's definitely lots of resources out there. You guys are learning all this stuff at a time where there's just so much more resources to learn this kind of stuff than ever before. Like, people have been putting out a lot more content. Like, when we got started, it was very minimal amount out there, but now there's full YouTube channels, websites all set up for all this stuff. And so you guys will be off to the races and laughing.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. It's, yeah, there's yeah, especially with running ads that we've already set you guys up with Microsoft Clarity and Google Optimize. So that'll do landing page changes if we need to. You can change the headline to change headlines, or I wouldn't recommend anything more than text to change, or maybe the color of a button, but generally you can also do personalizations, which I think is really cool. So you can make it that if they came from so just an example, if they're coming from the getting like an ad campaign where it was targeting people who are looking for a career change, then you can change the H1 on the page to say, hey, looking for a career change.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, you can personalize it to the ad campaign or the UTM parameter that you put in. So you can even do it with email marketing.
Great. So you guys will just advise us what we need to do.
Yeah, at the start, you shouldn't start with the A/B testing. Generally, you just want the page to work. Then once the page works, then you can split it out and start doing tests and stuff like that. But generally, you just want a page that works. Like it's the way I describe it is,
yeah,
when you first get a funnel, even if it's a leaky ass funnel, just having it working in every step, you have someone's taking that action. That's way better. Even if you're losing like 1% of people, and so it's only a 1% conversion rate, at least, oh, this works. Okay, now we can improve on it rather than try to like, we're going to run all these tests right from the get-go. It's like, no, you want the funnel to work.
Yeah.
Then you're going to run tests to be like, oh, can we get more out of this?
Yeah. So are you guys waiting for anything from us on the Google Ads? I think you've got everything now, hey? Or we can have another conversation sometime about that.
Yes, I need to confer with my Facebook ads associate.
Oh, no, she's not ready yet. My team is still making changes on copy.
Okay, yeah, so that part is good.
Oh,
I don't,
separate, sorry.
yeah, in Google Ads, I need to consult with Pip, who I have absolutely no idea where she went.
No worries, because I'm actually going to be working on that this afternoon because I have got a ton of emails from our team that I haven't even looked at, which I'm hoping is going to be approvals on the copy for Facebook. So then I'll be able to. Yeah,
your landing page, really good. We liked it. We'll figure out something about social proof, but whatever. You guys could even do email outreach to anyone that's a student in the last 6 months. Like, hey, hey, I'm so glad you took the course. We just want to know if you had any feedback or what was your overall impression.
And then direct them to Google My Business to write their.
Sure, why not?
You see, now that's the thing. So I've reached out to Google to ask them if we can transfer the reviews across.
Yeah, I would not hold my breath for that one. They're usually pretty bad about that, especially if it's specific ones. They're usually much better if it's, okay, we're at this location, I want everything transferred to it. They're better about that than they are about like, I want these ones to move to this and here's a list. Like they're generally not good with that. Their offices, no, fine, you're not going out.
I could ask them that, and then once they do that, then I can reach out to all our students to write their reviews.
Yeah, that's the one we've had way more success. If it's like a yes or no, move everything or leave everything, like they're way better about that part than they are about like, I want this grouping of reviews to go over there. They're usually not very good at that part because they're an understaffed team. Like Google My Business is, the team there is good, but you definitely can feel them being overworked because it's a free service, so they don't make money, so they have no incentive, which kind of sucks, especially when you're trying to do stuff with their platform or something's broken. They're not always the most responsive.
No.
But yeah, that's generally what it is. You also have to remember that there's a couple of black hat SEO people that like just constantly try to like break Google My Business, and they have a couple times. So they're usually dealing with those guys doing bad things than they are about like good people just trying to like, move stuff around. They're usually like dealing with an issue that's, oh, like people, like you're not allowed to have a virtual office, and someone we follow him mostly so we find out how he's going to break someone's platform, and he's just going to do something black hat, and he's like, and yeah, it was called rank and rent. It's a really stupid way of doing it, but basically you just set up a Google My Business, you call it like Santa Monica web design, and you have a simple website, and then you just capture leads, then you sell those leads to other people who will actually go do the work. And yeah, and so thousands of people had opened up Google My Business listings across the US, and so it just broke their system, and they just had to stop all that up before they could even approve anyone else. And it was like just annoying.
This is so frustrating because ours is like really legitimate. We just want to separate into education and clinic and have the right reviews on the right one, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And at some point you might need to just call it and just let some of them be on the other ones, and then just go forward with collecting, being very strategic about collecting the clinic reviews for the clinic one and the student reviews for the student one. That might need to happen. It's very hard to say. How many reviews is it overall?
That we have?
Yeah.
It's not that many.
Oh, if it's not that many, then like, because like if you increase the overall number of reviews and you like really strategically go after it, then any of the ones that are weird crossovers, they'll just get drowned out by like the overwhelming majority of them that are talk about as a student.
Oh, okay.
Because like they still aggregate them and they still go through and they find, oh, this one mentions clinic, or this one mentions like training, and this one mentions like students and a career change. And so they do aggregate and word cloud these things, and so they will, if you just increase the number overall, you'll just drown out any of the other ones. And so that might be an easier solution for you guys.
Okay, so maybe we'll have to go that way. Yeah,
especially if you go really aggressive for a 3 to 6 month, and then you're really going after the students and the clinicians, and you're really separating those out, and they're adding them, then I'd say you're golden if you don't have that many. If you had 150, I don't even
know how to see how many we've got. 56.
Oh God, yeah. If you tripled that to 200, but they were evenly split on both, then whatever, I'd say you're fine.
Okay, let me take that idea to the team. That's a good one.
Yeah, no, and like at some point you have to kind of call, like, it's you're what you're trying to do. I wouldn't hold my breath that you'd be able to do it. So, okay, if we can't do that, what's our alternative?
What's the next thing? Okay.
Yeah, like just assume that, let's go with the assumption that it's not going to work. And then from there, let's just go and just fix it going forward. Because it's the same as getting a 1-star review. The important part is, you're going to get them. It's just a matter of A, how you respond, and B, that you do respond and do engage with them. Because like by just ignoring it, and unless they say something inflammatory, like we had one that was literally libel, and but it looked so unhinged. It was a countertop company, and they're like, they're dumping water into the creek there, and like they're polluting, and that's libel under Canadian law. It's pretty hard to get libel under Canadian law, but that is very liable. And Google had to remove they couldn't get rid of the 1 star, but they could get rid of all the review, like all the content of it. There's definitely, so for the most part, you are not going out there. No. But that's what I would say going forward would probably be your best solution. Also, fresher ones are probably going to be more representative for you guys. So if you get a whole batch of new ones, those to new people are going to matter more. And it's chronological how they're viewed. So whatever the newest one is, that's the one that's at the top, and that's what most people are going to see.
Okay.
And
okay. Is there a way of linking? Because we've got reviews on Facebook, which is weird. I I don't know how that
Yeah,
happens.
so
Is
there is a plugin that we use with our, just one sec. I'll get you the name of the plugin. It's pretty helpful, honestly, especially if you've got your web developer working on it. You can pull in both Facebook and Google reviews
into the website?
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
So just
I
one
want to
sec.
do that because that's a good one.
Yeah. Reviews for, oh, ow. Yeah. How do you two? What are you doing? Okay. No, leave the guitar alone. Go. So where is
Don't worry, I will Google and
Oh, the reason why I'm mentioning, I'm being specific about this is because they're all named the exact same thing and they all have the most innocuous sounding names, like identical. Like they're like widget for Google reviews widget.
oh
Yeah, like
that.
innocuous names that you cannot distinguish them apart. That's the part that sucks about these systems, is that they're really bad at being able to tell you like, oh, it's yeah, just separate everything out.
Okay.
But yeah, this is the one we use for the Facebook, and his Google one, what is it? Google Reviews. Yeah, that's the name of the plugin. It's called Google Reviews.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really hard to.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that's the other one, plugin for Google Reviews. Again, like finding out the name of this, where it's so like just washes right over you. It's the part that sucks about the WordPress and Shopify add-on community, is that they're engineers and not creative people, so their names suck.
Not easy to find.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Anyone who can technically build an app, generally they're not going to be very good at creative naming structures and stuff like that. They're
for sure.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah. Okay, so you got that, and
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no.
That's great. That actually is everything. I'm just copying this across from the chat.
Yeah, no problem.
Fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
You have a wonderful afternoon.
You as well. I am probably going to be driving to town to pick up my cat who's in the hospital.
Why?
He got jaundice. His liver was shutting down and he got jaundice, which was hard for us to tell because he's an orange cat. So they were like, oh yeah, had a really bad case of jaundice. I was like, how would I be able to tell he's orange?
His gums.
Yeah, now I know to go look there, but I didn't.
Shucks, but of course you didn't know. What were his symptoms?
Hadn't eaten for 2 days and was just laying there. Yeah, so he's in the hospital. They put a feeding tube in him and they've done an ultrasound, and it's possible cancer. It's hard to say right now. They're just running tests because they don't know what the exact cause is. And this is fine. It was just.
How old is he?
He's a rescue. So we thought 7, the vet thought 13. Because he's pretty old. Like, yeah. So he's lived with us for 3 years. So it's a good cat, and it just came out of nowhere. So we weren't expecting it at all. And I've got to drive into Victoria. We're in Duncan, so we're like an hour outside of it. And
is that your closest vet?
It's the closest emergency vet.
That's hectic.
Yeah, the Malahit's not bad right now. So it's just bomb it there and pick him up and bring him home and give him drugs, and he's going to have a feeding tube. And so, apparently he did eat last night and he absorbed everything. And apparently all of our pets, the vets are all just, oh my God, his is nice as cat.
What do they say? Sorry?
Oh, they love them. Everyone loves our cats, and they're assholes here. But as soon as we take them to the vet, they're like good as gold, and like all the techs and the vets are just like, yeah, he's the best. Like, God damn it!
You're so lucky that's the case. I have to sedate my cats before I can take them to the vet.
Oh wow, yeah. Our guys are generally pretty good, which is surprising. They're almost all rescues. The only 2 cats that we know the ages of were born in this house. And so everyone else is a rescue. And so they're just a mystery age. Yeah, that's our house. And I should probably let you go.
Yeah, have a wonderful afternoon. Good luck with your kitty. Shem, I
Yes.
really hope he makes a speedy recovery.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be something just non-life threatening, and it's just a matter of getting the inflammation down, because apparently all of his organs near his liver are all inflamed, but it's hard to tell which, like his pancreas, his spleen, his liver, and his gall, like
He's very sick.
He's very sick, but at least they found it and they're pumping him full of like a anti-inflammation and steroids, and so they're just giving him loads of medication to get the swelling and everything down. And then they're doing a biopsy, and hopefully it's going to be something nice and innocuous and non-life threatening.
Oh gosh, I hope so. And have you got a place that you can keep him, like a room that he can have for himself when he gets home?
Yeah, we have a spare bedroom that, and so he'll probably get set up there because he can't go outside, obviously. And so I don't even think he'll probably want to.
He will want to, and then you'll have a problem because he's so sick. He might not come home.
Yes. And he might miss his food and medication.
But you don't want to do that.
So yeah, no, we're definitely keeping him. Well, we've got a spot to quarantine him, and so he'll be there, and hopefully it's gonna be nice. And
I will be thinking of you. That's just dreadful.
Yeah, it was not the best way to have my birthday go today. Was not expecting the cat to be in the hospital. Was not on my priority list.
No, but it becomes a priority.
Yeah, exactly.